Hi, this is Helen from Jupiter's Realm Tarot and Astrology, and today I'm taking a look at November's new moon in Scorpio and what this means in terms of the new moon significations of setting new intentions, refreshing or renewing activities, planting new seeds for goals or plans for the month ahead, and some of the major themes that are likely to underpin that. The new moon is like a seeding moment that tones the rest of the lunation cycle in the month ahead. And I think this month there's going to be some deep, heavy undertones and undercurrents at work, but with some transformative capabilities to breathe new life, feeling of rebirth or regeneration as the month develops. And so I'll be unpacking that as we go along. These signatures colour the month ahead generally, but on a more personal level you may feel them or see them play out, more specifically in relation to the topics of the Scorpio house of your birth chart, especially if you have planets or angles there, and most notably within a few degrees of the new moon. Now the new moon is taking place right at the start of the month on the 1st of November at 9 degrees Scorpio, co-present with Mercury. And this is Mars's fixed water sign, and so Mars is ruling the new moon from its fall placement in Cancer, which is also a water sign. Note also that Mars is making an exact opposition by degree to Pluto at the same time as the new moon. And so this opposition plays a part in the new moon signature. So this new moon is very scorpionic, very Plutonian, and so let's have a look at that in more detail. Now Mars's abode of Scorpio indicates themes of security, protection, trust, loyalty, and advocacy as well. But it's also associated with death and decay. It's really about getting deep beneath the surface, exploring what's hidden, and those dark corners that perhaps we don't normally want to face, especially emotionally. And that can involve intentions to address emotional wounds or issues. Scorpio indicates a motivation to find a sense of safety. What or who do we trust, and how can we feel safe in the weeks ahead? And has an intense transformational quality, quite similar to Pluto. The fact that Mars is in fall in Cancer emphasises this as well. Cancer isn't the best sign for Mars to be in because of the archetypal differences between the planet and the sign. Mars is about independence, individuality, self-will, fighting, impulsivity, and the cutting away of things. Cancer is about nurturing and bonding, connectivity, domestic matters, family and maternal type figures, providing protection, comfort and care, emotionally and otherwise. So this bolshy Mars spirit can be tricky to align with this. Mars has to be more considerate of others, be more gentle and caring. If you think about the warrior archetype, fighters and soldiers, they're not generally associated with warm, carey, touchy-feely kind of feelings or situations, and they don't make you feel cosy or snuggly. So this gives us indications of restlessness and irritation, generally the more challenging side of Mars being expressed. And so Mars in Cancer can point to unsettled emotional issues, dealing with conflict or hurt or loss in family dynamics or the home, issues with health matters, particularly women's reproductive health, and also childhood well-being and upbringing, as these are all topics that are managed by the moon, which is the ruler of Cancer. Pluto opposite Mars is a powerful signature, bringing through a potential for volatility and intensity. Pluto amplifies, and with Mars being in fall, this can amplify Mars's aggressive and impulsive tendencies. So there does need to be some care about the potential for overreacting, for being overly defensive or suspicious to the extent of seeing issues, slights or hurts when there are none. Pluto impresses a need to really purge and transform those issues of Mars in Cancer. But it can also indicate challenges with power dynamics, who holds the power, or is there misuse of power, and how you can feel more empowered yourself and supported. Pluto here also reinforces the scorpionic signature of uncovering what's underneath the surface. And Pluto represents the underbelly of circumstances and actions, as well as themes of power and mortality, and the fears that surround all of that. Pluto also signifies an impulse for regeneration and transformation, to bring a sense of renewal, rebirth and healing. With Pluto, Mars in fall and Scorpio all involved here, this is a lot of symbolism about what's in the dark, what's hidden, what's lurking beneath, and the subconscious impulses that can drive us to act. But it's also very intuitive and sort of we're dealing with those very felt spidey kind of senses, which can be really important to listen to. Scorpio can speak to doing things in a quieter, less outgoing way, giving space for internal reflection and quieter or more intimate surroundings, which can feel safer and more appropriate when processing or dealing with sensitive emotional topics. So those kinds of spaces may feel more comfortable to engage with this month. Another signature to factor in is the co-presence of Mercury with the new moon in Scorpio. It's quite wide by degree, but being in the same sign, this does bring through Mercury's qualities here. Mercury represents the intellectual realm, ideas, the transfer and exchange of information, and also skills, commerce and travel. So you may be having some new ideas or intentions relating to these, and perhaps doing a lot of thinking or reflecting about how these can support your new moon intentions and activities. Mercury in Scorpio can highlight communicating or strategizing about deep, intense and sensitive and maybe even taboo topics. It can give voice to pains, to hurts and to the uncomfortable feelings, wounds or matters of trust or betrayal. This may be about expressing truths which could be uncomfortable to acknowledge or reveal, but it might be a case of the truth needs to be told so that things can change and improve. You may need to watch for overly hurtful, aggressive language or ideas though, or becoming overly defensive or lashing out with hurtful words, which might be rooted in insecurities or fears. Mercury here has a very investigative quality. It's about unearthing details and information that are perhaps usually less visible. And Mercury is making a tight applying sextile to Pluto, which supports that investigative impulse. So all of this speaks to a pattern that we're seeing of getting to the heart of matters and then analysing or communicating what we find to help start a process of bringing truth to light, or to harness organisational activities to help renew or set into motion what we want to achieve this month. I notice also that Mercury is making an exact trine to Mars, so doing those things or talking about Mars and Cancer issues and trying to find a voice to those deeper topics can be a helpful way to bring through new life or resolution to matters as the month progresses. The new moon being in Mars's sign and Mars being in the moon's sign creates what's called mutual reception, which gives a supportive connection between the planets. Mars also sees the new moon by a favourable trine aspect, so that really helps improve the potential for more constructive outcomes with all these signatures under the new moon. But because Mars is in full, it doesn't negate the influence of the tricky nature of that Mars in Cancer. It still might mean some hard work and focus and effort is needed, and it might not be comfortable. But a willingness to work towards getting deep down, analysing, communicating and dealing with all the uncomfortable stuff will be helpful, because that's the first step to change, to healing and transformation, which is likely to be the general tone for the month ahead. But doing so in a way that feels safe and supportive, and managing impulses towards conflict, control or aggression, or individualistic power plays. So it could be a very emotionally sensitive month, and what can help is finding strategies to help calm emotions, to find more serenity, ways of having harmonious discourse and connection, and whatever activities work for you to help stabilise some of that unsettled, intense current that comes either from within the self or is projected on you from the external environment. So, this could be things like engaging with therapeutic strategies, or something else that could arise is learning or sharing information that brings new support or resolution or safe spaces for others that need healing or care. Lastly, notice how Mercury, Mars and Pluto are all at the ends of the signs that they're in. So there's this dual theme here of closure and the ending of cycles as part of renewal or new beginnings this month. So that's the sort of general main themes for the new moon this month. And so let's dive into the rising sign horoscopes. Now for Aries rising, the new moon is in your 8th house, suggesting shifts happening around financial agreements, shared resources, which can include partners' finances, tax, inheritance debt, financial contracts, but also the 8th house covers anxiety and end-of-life matters. Consider if financial terms need renewing or new agreements need to be sought to give a sense of more stability and security. Starting a process of gathering more facts and information may help to eventually shed more light on the true financial situation later in the month. Is there anything that's been overlooked or are there any hidden agendas that need to be investigated? With Mars in the 4th house, topics of the home life, parents, land may be connected, and it may be helpful to address any unsettled family dynamics around shared resources. For Taurus rising, the new moon falls on your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, highlighting honest communication and trust about core emotional needs, and finding strategies to support those. With Mars being in the 3rd house, being involved in community support activities could provide a channel for reaching deeper connections within those partnerships, or forming new partnerships and ways to get your ideas or advocacy activities out into the world. For Gemini rising, the new moon falls in the 6th house of health and wellness, daily work routines or duties, and pets. It's a good time to consider updating or finding new routines or strategies for these, and for tasks that feel burdensome or unfulfilling, and to get to the core of what feels unsatisfying and why. With Mars in the 2nd house of finances and assets, and Pluto opposite in the 8th house of shared resources, what's happening with income and expenditure or financial obligations may factor into what comes out of this over the next few weeks, and may influence those 6th house new beginnings. Be mindful about financial stresses impacting health. For Cancer rising, the new moon falls on your 5th house of children, creativity, sex and pleasure. Do these need a reset or a refresh this month? Are there any anxieties or insecurities around those topics? If so, this is a good time to start to lay the foundations for bringing those into the light and resolving them. There may be some new creative or romantic potential brewing that draws on your deepest emotions, and this may be connected to your core sense of identity as Mars is in your 1st house. Self-honesty will be important, particularly setting in motion ways to address blocked or suppressed emotions, and to be honest with and connect to what brings you pleasure and joy. Doing this may help generate new creative outputs with activities or pastimes through which you can express your emotions and feelings in a cathartic way, or to help others. For example, writing, journaling, writing poetry, or doing movement-based activities. For Leo, the new moon falls in your 4th house, which highlights the potential for home or private life developments or beginnings this month. This could be about refreshing your living environment, setting up new ways to organise or plan matters to do with home or property that you deal with. And with Mars ruling the new moon from the 12th house of seclusion and health, this may be about stepping away from the spotlight, having more private time this month, making your personal private space feel more emotionally comfortable or safe, and setting intentions to address challenging health matters, particularly in relation to family. This may also be about reflecting on and setting in motion new strategies to eliminate any habits or patterns to do with domestic matters or health that have been working against your best interest and well-being. That private time might be needed to recharge your batteries and get ready for developments later on. But it's also about starting to give voice to fears or emotional wounds so that they can be healed and resolved. And it may be more comfortable to do that in quieter, behind-the-scene type spaces that make you feel seen and heard. For Virgo rising, the new moon falls in your 3rd house of siblings, communication, routine travel, education, and your local day-to-day environment and community. So there may be some subtle shifts going on regarding these matters. This could include the start of uncovering new information or insights about these that can help shed light on deeper emotional needs or connections, or any issues that need resolving around those. You may be starting the process here for breathing new life into activities that support the more vulnerable, or people going through a difficult time in your community or extended family. With Mars in the 11th house, it's connected to your wider social circle, which may bring through some kind of support. For example, getting together disparate groups that are struggling or marginalised to create mutual support networks. For you, Libra, the new moon falls on the 2nd house of finances, assets and incomes, so new patterns or habits relating to your money may be emerging for you. This may be connected to your current career situation or your public life activities, as Mars is in the 10th house. If you've had any home life changes, career setbacks, concerns or challenges recently, consider taking steps to take an honest look and analysis of your financial situation, and start the implementation of some new strategies to remedy any financial issues or to protect your finances, so that you can move forward with a greater sense of financial security and stability as the month unfolds. Scorpio, the new moon highlights deep personal shifts and developments as it falls in your 1st house. This calls for inner reflection and honesty about your emotional realm and sense of emotional security. this may be tied to changes or disruptions relating to your worldview, spiritual or philosophical beliefs, or some kind of education that you're undertaking, as Mars is transiting your 9th house. The new moon may initiate a deeper awareness of how those influence your sense of self. For example, do they generate a sense of insecurity or discord with who or what you love in life? And how can you find supportive and safe ways to reclaim a sense of security or belonging, whilst addressing deeper uncomfortable emotional matters that could be surfacing? Sagittarius, the new moon falls in your 12th house of seclusion, health and wellness. And this suggests seeds being sown for new solutions or strategies to unearth and resolve more challenging emotions and experiences in life, to bring healing and recovery either for yourself or for others. And this may be related to end-of-life matters or shared resources or finances such as debts, grants, insurance, taxes, as Mars rules the new moon from your 8th house. For Capricorn rising, the new moon falls in your 11th house of friends, social groups, followers and people that support you with your dreams and aspirations. New social connections may be forming that help you in your goals, and this could be based on social environments and interactions where conversations go into deeper topics. And these new interactions may help with more intimate relationships or partnerships as well, and the theme of self in relation to others, as Mars is in the 7th house, making that opposition to Pluto in the 1st house. And so this could be part of a larger story of profound shifts and transformations that are concluding in relation to your sense of identity or self. For Aquarius rising, career matters may be refreshed or new career projects or goals beginning, as the new moon falls in your 10th house of career and public status. This could be related to matters of job security, research, learning new skills or intense negotiation. With Mars located in the 6th house, this may pull in themes of daily burdensome chores or work, or labour issues or health matters either for yourself or in terms of advocating or providing a service for others in relation to this. For Pisces rising, this new moon is about sowing the seeds of new perspectives, as the new moon falls in your 9th house of higher learning, travel, foreign places or people, and philosophy or religion. It could involve starting to do new activities related to these topics, or starting to go deep into spiritual, esoteric or faith-based subjects. As Mars falls in the 5th house of creativity, pleasure, sexuality and children, the topics and the underlying emotional needs or challenges involved may be influencing those 9th house topics in some way in the month ahead, and could be prompting the initiatives that you take or intentions you set regarding these 9th house matters. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any comments or questions about any of that, please do leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to like or subscribe if you'd like to keep notified about new videos as they come out, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.